Hi guys, come and paint a beautiful landscape with me using watercolors. This landscape was basically inspired by the very first cross stitch design that I made. I've attached a picture of the cross stitch right here. That was basically grade 6 Yoshi's piece of art. In my first voiceover video, I spoke about how I fell in love with art, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about art in my childhood. Art has always played and still plays a big role in my life. I've always been creating some sort of art throughout, especially during my childhood, where I still remember spending most of my time making art. As I mentioned in my first video, I've made all sorts of art, ranging from birthday cards to ribbon embroideries to painting, drawing, and much more. One of my very creative experience was when I made a paintbrush with my grandmother. I remember this very well, where one day I was at my grandma's house and I wanted to paint, but I didn't really have any painting supplies. So my grandmother and I decided to make the paintbrush. So we just gathered our supplies, like little twigs from the garden and the little pieces of fiber that comes in coconut shell. I think you'd call it a coconut shell hair. Along with a little piece of string, I tied up the coconut shell hair to the twigs and made my own little brush. I remember being super excited and preparing well in advance for my art lessons in school. And then in grade 6, I started taking home economics classes where we were taught to make different things like the cross stitch you just saw in the beginning of this video, and glass painting, and I've done some sewing in the classes. And that's when I realized how much I loved and enjoyed making all types of art. I have never really learned art professionally except for the art classes in school, as well as the ribbon embroidery and RE embroidery classes that I've been to. But majority of what I do now is completely self-taught. I know this painting doesn't look much like the inspiration, but I started somewhere and ended somewhere. But I think this piece of art is also beautiful.